Shadow the Hedgehog. Why does that name haunt me? It's the only thing I can remember. And that gruesome image. Maria!
Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the few Sonic-related titles I have yet to explore. The story centers on Shadow, a gun-toting assassin with all black and red highlighted hair. You start off watching a cutscene where Shadow remembers a girl named Maria. The girl looks and dresses like Alice in Wonderland. While Shadow seems to have a similar backstory to Logan, aka Wolverine,
What?
or if you want to keep the animal theme, similar to Rocket the Raccoon. The government created Shadow to use as a weapon in whatever they chose. As you go throughout the game, it has similar 3D levels that you would see in the latest Sonic the Hedgehog game, Sonic Frontiers. As you go throughout each level, you team up with various Team Sonic characters like Knuckles, Sonic, and even a character I never heard of, Charmy.
Hey, Shadow. I gotta ask you something.
I honestly have no fucking clue who this character is. Shadow the Hedgehog was released in November of 2005 on GameCube, PS2, and OG Xbox. The game follows a second Sonic adventure game that released on Dreamcast. The formula is pretty Sonic-esque, and you collect coins, battle enemies, and try to speed through the levels as quickly as possible. Shadow the Hedgehog was written and directed by Takashi Iizuka, whose previous titles include both Sonic adventure games, and even most recently Iizuka was producer on Sonic Frontiers, which actually was a pretty decent game. The game was a commercial success and selling over 2 million copies by March of 2007. As someone who has grown up with Sonic since the original release on the Sega Genesis way back in the day,
Now, when you buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1, you'll get Sonic 2 absolutely free. Sonic 2 handles stubborn stains, embarrassing bald spots, no problem. It even slices and dices, makes thousands of julienne fries. But wait, you can play it too.
I really enjoyed Shadow the Hedgehog quite a bit. Using various guns like a chopper, laser gun, and even what looks like a plasma sword really made the combat feel more fun and interesting in comparison to your traditional Sonic games. The main goal is to collect the Chaos Emeralds, similar to Sonic Adventure, but there are also various objectives, missions you can accomplish throughout to unlock different collectibles as well as maximize your level and grade. One of the most annoying things playing through Shadow the Hedgehog was the ledges. It was way too easy to drop off, or when jumping on enemies it can be easy to lose control and just jump too far and you die, and it can get increasingly frustrating. There are plenty of checkpoints throughout each level, so even if you do drop off, you can pick up relatively close to where you died until you end with no lives, okay? The music and voice acting is both traditional Sonic and same old Sonic. Is that din 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 type of tone, and almost a kid-friendly version of Devil May Cry soundtrack to match the tone of who Shadow is as a character, which I really enjoyed. The voice acting just lacks any sense of real emotion. You probably could get an AI to sound more natural than the voice actors for the characters in the game. Sonic has never had great voice acting, similar to Resident Evil, although Resident Evil's gotten better. And Frontiers is probably the best voice acting since Sonic Adventure 1, but it's still great nonetheless. Overall, Shadow the Hedgehog was a fun platformer that makes the game feel like Sonic Adventure, but mix it with new flavor and personality of Shadow, and the game puts itself apart as one of the best Sonic-related titles available. I'm giving Shadow the Hedgehog a solid first impression score of 3.5 to a light 3.75, and if I had played this game back in 2005, I might have more faith in the Sonic Frontiers game, which turned out to be a great title, which you can check out that impression after this video on this channel as well. Now I'm going to speed dash over to Rocky for his first impression of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog is a game that I played when I was much younger, and I know that I didn't get very far. It was one of the games that was available on the GameCube inside the McDonald's Play Place when I was younger.
Saw? Saw. Hammer? Hammer. Monkey wrench?
Can't do.
Why not?
The monkey's not done with it yet.
So I would go sit over there rather than go climbing around in the play place in order to play this game that I was really no good at and never got very far in. And honestly, when I returned here, I was pretty much just as fucking bad as I was back in the day. I'm not exactly a platformer type guy, and the Sonic games were never really my thing that much, so I've never been that good at them. However, I do enjoy the story and the atmosphere that is created in this game quite a bit. I think the brooding hedgehog alongside somebody like Sonic has this really interesting juxtaposition that creates a really good way to tell stories. I think having it so that he lost his memory and that he's trying to gain that like the information back.
That's right. I somehow escaped, but was then captured by those humans. But from where?
By helping this, individual who probably took his memory, to be perfectly honest with you, but is helping him so he can get that back, is an interesting storyline, and nowadays is one that's been overdone, but definitely works considering this game came out a while back. I think that the 3D nature of it is very fun, and I do enjoy, how you can speed up at certain times, and you have to kind of slow down and speed up and really keep your speed in mind as a main mechanic. I think that's very interesting, considering usually it's just very simple, walk forward, do this, or just keep running forward as fast as you can. Here there are various different enemies that require you to slow down and hit or engage with, and so if you're going way too fast or if you're going way too slow, you can engage with them in a way that might actually end up hurting your character, which is definitely interesting, but that's one of the parts that I'm not very good at, is like figuring out, hey, this is when I need to speed up, slow down, etc. One of the things I really liked was the gun mechanic. It's very silly and kind of stupid. However, having like Shadow be able to go pick up a fucking pistol and just start bapping bitches is so fucking hilarious. Then on top of that, you can get like the alien lasers and stuff, which is pretty fun. I like the idea that you can either engage with the monsters or you can kill the police, and like Sonic thinks you're on his side at times, etc. I think that's interesting, and then having to deal with like the person saying, hey, don't hurt our like allies when you're like shooting the monsters or whatever, versus like Sonic saying, hey, those are our guys. It's definitely something that like adds this kind of karma-esque atmosphere and aspect to the game. Is interesting considering later on many games would utilize a karma type system in order to change how the game progresses. But that's really all I have to say. There isn't that much that I can bite my like teeth into for this one, and I think that for me, this game, because I'm bad at it, is not quite as fun. To me, I would give this a bit above mid. It's a 2.75 out of 4. It's good and it has a decent story and whatnot, but it's not my type of game. And I mean, if it is your type of game, that's fantastic, but again, just not quite for me. So I'm gonna pass it back over to Jason.
Thank you, Rocky, and now we want to hear from you. Have you played Shadow the Hedgehog? What is your favorite Sonic-based game? Let us know in the comments down below. Also down below, you will find the description where me and my brother Rocky's all our socials are located, as well as a link to our main channel, Smokin Sessions, where we do movie reviews, watch-alongs, and all sorts of content that we're sure you'll enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, as well as hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on videos like this from us in the future. Thank you so much for watching and or listening to this video, and we will see you all in the next gaming session.
Mr. President, we've received a report from the Central Information Agency.
I spaced out of my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell or a chance just to open up a newer